Right, my name is Bryce, and we're going to go over infusing medications through an IV and maintenance of it as well. First thing, as always, we're going to go ahead and introduce ourselves to the patient. How are we doing today? My name is Bryce, and we have an order to give you some IV medication. Can I get your name and date of birth? All right, so we want to get our two identifiers to the patient. And then now we are going to go ahead and perform some hand hygiene, give you some privacy, and infuse that medication for you. So provide privacy.
Yeah, right.
Hand hygiene.
2 more weeks to go.
I'm going to don gloves. Alright, first things first, I want to assess my patient. I also want to assess the IV site as well. I'm going to be checking to make sure it's properly fastened down. I want to see if there's any signs of redness, temperature, irritations, or signs of infection. I'm going to start off always with flushing the site. This is to check proper placement. Big rule of thumb, we're always going to scrub the hub. And we will be flushing with 2 milliliters. We want to make sure that we don't see any of the solution try to bubble to the surface. That means that it actually is no longer inserted from the vein. It's going into the skin instead. And that medication and solution would not be going into the vein as it should be. Now that we went ahead and verified that, now this is us passing medications, so we would make sure that we check the MAR and we verify the medication at least 3 times. We would be using our 6 principles of medication administration. We are going to start off with our saline solution. Now, of course, we would verify with the MAR 3 times. Exactly. Now, this is already spiked and primed. Otherwise, you would find it without the tubing on it. You're going to hang, but you would uncap, stab, and twist. Make sure that your system is locked so you don't lose any. Now this is already primed, but in order to prime, set everything up. I'm going to go ahead, open it up, just get a little bit of solution out and get all the air out of the system. Want to double check that we don't have any air, any kinks. Right. We'll connect to the IV site. Starting off, of course, with scrubbing the hub. Now that that is all set, we're going to set it up to the machine. It uses this top lock as the key. Right now, we would be selecting that it is a new patient. We follow the prompts from there. This is an adult. We would put our medication name in. Now, this medication is not in the system, so we would just be using IV maintenance. All right, now we would be referring to what the doctor's orders were and what we want our rate to be. So for this situation, we're going to go ahead and use 75 as our rate. Hit OK. And now for the volume to be infused, this is 1,000 milliliters. We do want to set ourselves up with a little bit of time to get over here and have the alarm go before this fully infuses, because we do not want it to run dry. So I'm going to set it to alert us at 970. All right, and what we're actually going to do now is set up the secondary bag, which is going to be our medication. use our mark 3 times, verify the medication. We want to make sure also that this is a medication that will work with the solution we're infusing it with as well. You want to make sure that our secondary medication bag is located higher. So we're going to throw this attachment on. Make sure that our primary is inferior to the secondary bag. Now we're going to have to pierce this medication. I'm going to open our cap here. It's already uncapped. We'll insert and twist. We need to prime the system. Uncap. As a warning for inactivity. Now, prime the system, we want to make sure we don't lose too much of the medication, because it is a smaller volume, so we're just going to make sure we don't lose too much during this process. We'll make sure that there's no air bubbles. Now with that all set, I'm going to introduce it to the rest of the lines. Which means that we will scrub the hub. Right, now that the system is set up, we're going to program our secondary as well. Alright, now for the rate on this, we would go ahead and follow the doctor's orders for the medication. For this situation, we'd have a 100 milliliter container. They want it infused over an hour, so we'd set our drop rate to 100. And for our volume to be infused, we would set this to 100 as well, because we would want this to be completely infused. Because of the fact that it is running off of a piggyback setup, we don't have to return for this amount, because it will continue to infuse our saline. If that's the case, we can continue set the system up to run. We want to make sure that we have all of our stitches, everything unclamped. Now it's asking us to verify that we're getting drops out of both. Oh, sorry, secondary, as I was, which we are, and the system is open. We would let it know yes. We want to make sure the entire system is working. Now that the system is all set up, lastly, before we leave, most importantly, so it's actually letting me know that it is finding air in the line. Actually, for kinks. Alright, now lastly, before we leave, more importantly, we want to make sure we label everything. So we'll be labeling both of our bags, our tubing, and the infusion site, the IV itself here. That we would do with our name, date, and time. Because our secondary is good for 48 hours, 72. Tubing and insertion site would be 3 to 4 days.